volume of the lava has increased.
Alright, howdy folks, welcome back. Quite the volcanic activity we got going on here, I must say. And what a big old flood of lava that was. And we'll come back to that later. Let's hop into our solar report tonight. Howdy folks, welcome back, everybody there in the chat. For those of you who caught last night's, it's been erased. Okay, I erased it because I was not in good form last night. And I did not like last night's report. So, it's gone. And we're moving on to tonight's report. So, let me just zoom in a little bit here and get you guys set up here. 125, there we go. Alright. There, scroll down, you can see this is May 22nd, 2023. Funny, I was born at 5:22 a.m. But here we go. We have quite the event going on here today. First, it starts off with this full halo. That's what I reported on last night. And we'll stop this and go through frame by frame here. Okay, first opening frame. Let's get you guys all dialed in here after the intro there. That looks okay. Get a little tint going here too. Oh, it's a little too bright, I think. Alright, there we go. So, as we're here, opening frame. You guys hear me? This thing's still plugged in? Alright, good. We have this event going on over here, this slow motion event that's caused this big wide white spire patch over here, okay? This has been going on for a while. This is a slow motion event. Now we have another big, here's our halo event coming off the side. So, boom, that's our next frame. And you can see we had a full halo. And there's still no info as to whether it's away from us or headed towards us. But Doesn't matter. The object that caused it is still heading towards Earth. As we're going through this, you're seeing this slow motion event over here with these, looks like wave after wave coming off, reaching out to something. There's something bigger out here that's out of frame that this energy is reaching to. Now, as we progress here, you start to see this event coming off the top here. And as it goes here, you can see the dark object right here, surrounded in plasma, as well as over here. So we're just going to zoom in on these frames right now, right here, while we're here. And here's our round black object. Okay, here's its magnetic field that it's, ripping plasma off the surface of the sun. Okay, you can see there's our object right there, looking like an Oculus, like a face with one little Oculus hanging up to one eye, almost like the Monopoly guy with his little Oculus or whatever. Anyway, then as we pull over to this side, let's tint this out a little bit. Wait. Well, it doesn't really capture it all that well, except for like too bright. Anyway, here's our round dark object, just totally surrounded with plasma right here. The plasma is so bright that you can barely make out the dark patch or the object. But maybe here, right about there, I guess you guys can see it pretty well. And it's just got this beautiful display of plasma draped all around the bottom side of it. You ought to come over to the instrument and take a look here at this frame, and this would be at 948, 0948. Okay, then let's see if we can progress this way. All right, now there's our next good shot of it right there. Put it up in the dark zone there. You can see also we have these two UFOs over here. Okay, let me scroll up, just tab it more. There we go. Now you can see these two UFOs over here. Let's pull over to the other side. Here you can see our object a lot clearer now. Okay, this is the next frame. And here's our instrumentation, reacting to the CME that it's causing by ripping plasma off there. And then, so let's come back over to here, advance another frame. Okay, here you can still see our round dark object right here. There's actually a shaft of light coming through it, kind of blocking it out, half of it out, but you can still see all this plasma right here that it's grabbed. Let's just check the other side here. Yeah, we can still make it out there. There's a frame I'm looking for over here, though. Okay, you can see as it starts to, oops, if you don't move it, Brian, it starts to stretch this plasma out. There's still a big bright patch of it underneath the objects right here. Okay, and then this is all the plasma that it's grabbed. Where is this? Oh, here it is. You guys are gonna love this one. All right, so at this point, our object's up in here now. Okay, it's got its magnetic fields. This is the ghost image of the previous frame. But what I wanted to show you was this. Okay, now for anybody that wants to say, oh, these are ion particles dancing around the sun and streaking through the screen. Okay, yeah, go live in your bubble of denial here, because I'm going to zoom in as hard as we can so you guys can clearly see. Spaceship firing laser beam. Okay, it's plain as day. These are UFOs out here. They're having a battle out here by the sun. And here's one shooting its thing at the moment the image was taken. Okay? And I'm tired of everybody trying to say, oh, it's just a bunch of ion particles dancing around. Bullshit. It's Star Wars going on out there. What do you think Star Wars, the movie, the idea came from? From an actual thing that's really going on. They're battling over the Earth. They're battling over the sun, too. They all want rights to, suck energy off the sun. But anyways, that one was just caught in the middle of all this madness. We have a little UFO, you know, nobody just shooting at something else. Okay, so for all the deniers, they can go ahead, stick their head back in the sand, and stick your ass in the air because you're about to get raped. Otherwise, you'll know the other people won't get raped. They'll know the truth. Now, do you see this event going on right here? It's plain as day. We got our object up here, all this plasma ripping off, and we have this UFO right next to it firing, and there's two other UFOs right there in the background. There's more here, here, here. They love to show up when these objects, interact with the sun. All of a sudden, they're all over it, dancing around, escorting the objects out or by the sun. I've seen like escort parades of UFOs escorting these objects out. That's stuff that I don't really report on too much. I was hoping maybe you guys would come over here to this instrument and see it for yourself without me having to say anything. But if you do, you come over here, you watch these objects coming out, there's escorts and parades of UFOs surrounding them, swarming them. I want to see NASA explain that one. Yeah, they aren't going to be explaining anything. They're tight-lipped about everything right now. So, isn't that a wonderful frame we captured there, folks? And I didn't make this up. This is NASA's images from the SOHO satellite, okay? We're at the seed site. I'm not pulling shenanigans on you. Okay? This is NASA's images. This is what, years ago, they used to put a little digital square over this and they'd block all this out. They're probably so busy with their head up their ass right now, they don't have time to block this stuff out. They're probably not even sure what's happening up here with these things, with these objects, and why there's huge parades of UFOs, all around them. I know why. But you wouldn't believe it. So we're just going to keep reporting on it till you get it. Got it? Good. Let's hop. Oh, wait, we're not done here. I was going to hop over to the other instrument, but we're not done here. So, boom. If you can see here, here's another UFO streaking through there, okay, as this event unfolds. Okay, so there's just this event unfolding as UFOs streak through there, shoot at each other, do all kinds of dancing around, changing positions, and there goes our object. There looks to be a secondary one, something in this area, and then finally whatever's going on here starts to emerge as we have even more down here, over here. Well, this is still slow motion going on. All right. UFOs over on the red side just dancing all over the screen. I mean, it's like the activity is ramping up because the battle's ramping up. Okay, so that was our loop. Let's go ahead and let it play one more time. Whoopsie, not in reverse. There we go. And scooch it over a little bit. All right, so there's your loop for today, May 22nd, with all kinds of UFOs, objects, activity, UFOs shooting at each other, shooting stuff. Yeah, see that sneak in there? Okay, and several CMEs, right? You see in all these CMEs, the big blast, this slow motion one, this one, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I want you to take note of that, because when we come over here now to the solar ham, the The solar ham. Here is today's activity. Let me zoom in on that for you. Pull it over and slide it up. Alrighty. Yes, war in the heavens. Yes. Oh yeah, you've been capturing them film in the sun, huh? Yeah, you might be capturing all kinds of crazy stuff around the sun right about now. I got a pair of welder's goggles and a telescope, and boy, do I know what's going on. Anyway, here's today's activity. You see all the little pops and flares and CMEs that we had today. Okay, quite a few of them. Nothing too big. That's the M class one right here going up there. But the rest were all kind of in the C range. Okay, that's good. I like to see this kind of activity right here, where we're above the sea floor, having C to small M class range flares. That is good. That's a good report, really, compared to what the last couple of days have been, and I didn't even feel like bringing it. Well, just couldn't. Too exhausted. This is getting brutal. Now, let me zoom back out of this, okay? So, currently we're calming down. Whoops, let me just finish this off real quick. Currently, after this little activity, it's kind of calming down. We're not below the seafloor. It is getting kind of weak right here at the end, but we do have a little calm session now on the sun since today's activity, brutal events, we'll just say, because it's doesn't look like a lot, but it is excruciatingly painful. Okay, now our absorption is back to normal here. We had quite the event that hit America here this morning. We woke up to our radio blackout. Here we have sunspot 3311 has gone beta, gamma, delta, and they should have an image. I don't know why they don't pull up the sunspot image right now, but we'll go find one. This sunspot region is looking a little dicey now, okay? It's okay if it's beta, it's okay if it's beta gamma, but when it goes all three, beta gamma and delta, that's something to watch out for. And the flare potential was up to 25% earlier. Now it's down to 10, probably because of this lowering of activity right here. But earlier today, when we were having this, the X flare potential was at 25. And luckily, we didn't have one. Some answered prayer. Here we go with our KP index, shot up to 6 right here. You can see that it was, a lengthy event. It wasn't just one little bar. We went up there and then peaked and came down. So the KP was up there for a while. Our auroras, let's get back out of this. Go over to the auroras, please. Our auroras are still medium strength right now. They still offset. Right where my finger is the middle of the compass, the central axis point of the Earth, right? The auroras should be in a nice uniform circle around it. They're pulled off to one side. Here's the compass, the axis point for the northern pole, right here where my finger is right here. You can see how the auroras have been tugged down towards this side, away from the other side. And now I've done it. All right. So, you can see it's pulling down to southern Canada here, but nothing too intense right now. Nothing, no yellows or reds in there, so that's good. I checked this tracker. There was nothing on it earlier. We're going to check it just in case they'd like to refresh it during my show. Well, I'm on a little early right now. And nothing. Okay, so they still don't have any indication of which way that full halo is going. I have a feeling it's probably going away from us, because there was an object that was inbound when it went off, then it passed. So it seems to me that if the CME happened before the object passed, that CME it induced is heading away. If the object passed, and then the CME, a big one snapped off behind it, that would be coming our way. Regardless, the objects themselves are still headed our way. Okay? So is every entity in the universe. I'll come in here to see the big show. So, here you can see here's a picture of our halo effect, okay? And let's just read this here. Maybe they said, an impulsive 8.9 flare was just detected around AR 3311, that's that one, at 12:35. Other than a brief radio blackout, no major impacts are expected. So, they're saying this full halo is what I'm taking from this. Let me just read this. Minor G1 to moderate G2 geomagnetic storm conditions observed during the past 6 hours due to enhanced solar wind environment. The solar wind speed is currently 600 kilometers a second. The BZ component and the IMF has been pointing south at times. Isolated periods of storming will remain possible during the next 24 to 48 hours. Okay, so isolated periods of storming on the sun during the next 24 to 48 hours. The halo CME observed in other news, a halo coronal mass ejection is visible in the latest coronagraph. When reviewing the latest imagery, it appears that this may be related to a far side event and not Earth-facing. Good. And not Earth-facing. That's what I was thinking, too. It was sounding like they were going to say it was Earth-facing, but at the very end it says, and not Earth-facing. So the CME is most likely not Earth-facing. It appears that this may be related to a far side event or object. Okay, the object was on the far side, and it caused a CME that is not Earth-facing. Period. Get it? Got it? Good. It came out of this region. That's why I was thinking they were going to say it was Earth-facing. But we will see. Here's that R2 level radio blackout that we experienced. Wait a second. Is this another one? No, this is the one probably caused when this went off earlier. Yeah, that's the one I reported on early in the earlier report that I erased. Because we were experiencing R2 level radio blackouts, and it was still moving. We were moving into that zone this morning when the sun's moving across this way, right? So you got a bigger representation of this map, please. There we go. Now you can kind of see America's hidden here in this little rainbow section right here, but this red section was over Africa and the East Coast, and it shifting this way, right? Because the sun comes up in the east, so the red zone was starting to strike the East Coast last night or this morning when I did my my messed up report. But apparently that has died now. That was caused by this 8.9, near almost an X flare, they said. Almost an X flare, an M8.9. I say a 9.8 would be almost an X flare. But 8.9 is almost to them, so that's good enough for me. All right, I think we are done at this instrument. Yeah, just everybody kind of keep an eye on 3311 right there, that beta gamma delta. That's a that's a very dangerous situation, and it's this one right here. Sorry, I'm scrolling around. It's this one right here, right where this flare is, okay? And it's rotating into the Earth strike zone. It will be pretty level with the Earth when it comes across the disk or whatever. So we could be, we got to pray a lot because we got the gun is swinging around in our direction and the barrel is pointing at us here pretty soon. Let's just pray there's nothing in the chamber, okay? It's time to go over to the earthquake report now. And this is this has been quite complex lately, and we're just going to try to get into it and keep it as simple as possible while doing it. Starting off here, this is our 5.1 at a depth of 39. It's a surface quake. It's energy being scrubbed off from our 4.4s yesterday. I told you there's going to be 5 to mid 5 energy in the region going up the system. Well, here it's entered the system, and here it has entered this system. Okay, because there's one. Please close out. Thank you. Because there's a fault line going down, and then this is the beginning of the fault line going up, all right around Fiji. We got one here. This is the 5.1. It's going to travel down, drop off something around the same size, or, at a fulcrum point, weak part somewhere along the line. Could strike on land, so a little heads up for New Zealand for 5 mid 5 range energy coming in. Now we come over here. This is the, man, sorry, my hands are so numb, I can't even feel when I'm clicking sometimes, and I double click. I feel like 2 dead chunks of meat at the end of 2 poles. Both my hands are going numb. I got so much damage in my neck, broken neck, shattered vertebrae, that my spinal cord is making my hands numb. 4.9 at a depth of 10. How about the other one? It's 4.9 at a depth of 10, 4.9 at a depth of 10. They're both identical. This one is a 5.0 at a depth of 10 and 5.1 at a depth of 10. So basically 4 5s, and a 5.5. So 5 of these 5 to mid 5 range energy, starting off right here, our little quake swarm again. It's a small one, but it's swarming quakes at the mouth, at the entry of this other system. It has traveled up and dumped off a 5.3 at a depth of 10. It has dumped off a 4.5 at a depth of 46. 4.3 at 10. Where's that deep one? No, thankfully no deep one. That's a 4.5 at a depth of 35 and a 4.6 at a depth of 10. All these surface quakes are all that energy traveling up the system. It looks to get weaker as it goes. A bunch of it, when it first hits the door, it tapers off a little bit, tapers off some more, tapers off some more, travels up and tapers off some more. It skipped this, all right? Didn't even travel up there. It went straight up this. You can see it. Doot, 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 doot. That's the 4.2. Depth is 173. 4.6, that's the one we did. This is 173 depth, so that's a little bit stronger at the surface, okay? 4.5. You come up here to this little quake swarm spot that we had south of Japan, dumped off the 5 right there to depth of 10, dumped off a 4.9, so 2 5s right there to depth of 10. All right, that's that energy, like I've been telling you, traveling up the system, finding the fulcrum points, the weak spots. Interesting here, this is out in the water in a deep quake. That's what I was wondering. Give me this back without the blue. Thank you. All right, so you guys with me there? All right, cool. Off the peninsula here, we're talking 497 is the depth on that one. That is a deep quake. That one, at a depth of that deep, at almost 500, that 4.3 translates to about 5.3 at the surface, okay? So we're talking, 5 range energy striking again, right? Ta-da! It's moving up the chain. This pinch-off point makes it pop here, makes these volcanoes go off here. Every once in a while we'll get a quake there, but then the energy gets pinched off, and when it comes out of the pinched-off garden hose, it's trickling. It's not as strong as it was, just like a pinched off garden hose. That's exactly what it is. I mean, look at it. Can you see it? It's a garden hose that's pinched off. All right. And that energy has trouble getting around the corner. It releases at this weak spot. That's why there's these volcanoes right here, because of this apex area, this fulcrum point. Then travels down the system. Thank you, Dutch. Such a good man. I wish he could understand just a little bit more of what's going on under the surface, and then he would be a lot better. He would totally get this in a heartbeat. He is so close to understanding the whole ball of wax. He's got 5/6 of the ball, and he just doesn't understand the center of it. Once you grasp that concept, everything else it all becomes common sense. It's all just simple. God works in simple ways. It's not all that hard to really do. It's man and his science and his theories that overcomplicate stuff. Back to this. This is a 3.1 at a depth of 23.9. This area is what concerns me a lot. It's close by my region, okay, and there's a lot of people here in California, right? Okay, so important area, and Oregon, the whole West Coast. So this dictates a lot of lives, okay? 3.1 is good. I am telling you, this 3.1 at this depth is good. It's scrubbing off energy. We saw that energy come in and strike a big, 5.6 here yesterday? That was concerning. I was expecting a bigger quake after that, and it's smaller. So that's good. I will take a 3.1 off Petrolia, California any day of the week, especially at this depth. Okay, that's relieving pressure on this plate. Okay, we want to relieve pressure, but we want to do it in small little increments. Okay, here's more of that pressure actually being released here. This more. Yep, it sure is. So, yep, this is more of this energy being scrubbed off inland. That's good. No activity along the San Andreas today because of this big one that we had up there. That's good. Okay, so answered prayer again. 2.7, that's nothing. And 2.6, yeah, nice and quiet for California there, okay? Because today could have been a really sloppy, ugly mess, okay? I'm telling you guys, today could have been real ugly. And let's just say you guys are praying your little hearts out, and you're doing so fantastic. All right. Some stuff I'm going to skip over. I'm looking for stuff that's concerning. Of course, this is on the Cocos plate here. It's actually a 4.3 at a depth of 10, and we are, yes, scrubbing off energy in the weak zone. Thank you, Lord. That's more answered prayer. Because I don't know if you per se were praying for, but I've been praying for just the right size. And we're back. Ooh, cool. I'm reading some of your comments here real quick. Yeah, they do kind of look like faces. That's right. Was it a cycle accident? Oh, somebody just asked, Brian, why do you think the government handed out satellite phones? They handed out satellite phones because the shit's about to hit the fan, and they know it. And now they're arming all their congressmen and all their people that are, when the grid goes down, they still need to communicate, right? They got their own little special satellites up there just for their secret little groups or whatever, and they all have their own special little satellite phones. So Pelosi and Chuck Schumer can still cavort and do their crimes and cover up their and try to cover up their tracks. But they're so blind they can't see that they've stepped in shit, and that they track it everywhere they go, and they stink like it. And you don't even have to track them; you can smell them from a mile away. All right, here we are with a new 5.1. This has just happened, okay? We were here at Fiji on the beach sipping on a cocktail just minutes ago, weren't we? And now we have a new 5.1 at a depth of 32. That's that 5 to mid 5 range energy, and it seems to be getting scrubbed off right here, which is good. I will take that too. We're talking about good news and answered prayers. This kind of quake swarm isn't necessarily bad news. It's scrubbing off a lot of energy in a place where there isn't such a densely populated area. You know what I'm saying? And they're at a range, and a bunch of them at 5, which releases a lot of energy, but doesn't cause tsunamis or much damage. I mean, that's like about the maximum 5.5 to, low 6 that we can take without doing too much damage and release pressure at the same time. Okay? So, to answer those questions, hopefully you got it. Grid down situation foreseen. Yes, the grid will go down. Was it a cycle accident? No, I have been paranormally attacked for the last 6 years in ways that I can't tell you. You wouldn't believe me. Okay, I'm just kind of briefly going through the chat here and seeing your beautiful comments. Thank you, you guys. You're awesome. I know it's a little intimidating in my chat room, but you're very brave to make comments, so thank you. And I'm not too worried about what your comments are. I like good questions. There's no dumb questions. Well, actually, there is one dumb question, but we're not going to say that stuff on the air. It's all being judged. There's a 4.2 here in Romania. There's a 4.0 in Turkey. There's a 4.5 in Iran. Those are all pretty close to their their little positions. But if you come over here and just look at the system real quick, there's no other quakes that aren't on the fault lines. They're all following the system, the network. Okay, and it's working out beautifully. It's dropping off these perfect mid-range 5 quakes along the line, mid-range 4s, and dishing out energy where it should be. Now, one more thing I want to point out right here. Now, this one is awesome. I want you guys to take a peek at this one because we don't get a good example like this every once in a while. So let's back out a little bit. Here's our fulcrum point, right? And it drops off all the quakes right here in the weak zone, right? We see this day in, day out all the time. This one's a little more inland, and do you see how these mountains have formed because of this fulcrum point, right? Okay, and the mountains themselves formed a fulcrum point, didn't they? Do you see these stress waves out in front here? Look, do you see these stress waves out in front here as this pressure has pushed this ground? Isn't that awesome? And here's our fulcrum point, and what do we have but a beautiful little 4.8 at a depth of 613. That's deeper than the lakes over at Fiji. So this fulcrum point reaches down to 613 kilometers below the surface. That's how thick that plate, that's how this fulcrum point reaches down to that depth. It's amazing, dude. This is just the coolest little quake because of that. You can see the stress. You can see this rippling effect in the ground from the mountains pushing this way, right? And they're causing this ground to buckle up, right? And then boom. Here's the fulcrum point right there, and to have this quake, just feet away from the fulcrum point. Look at this little feature right there. It's a little river, probably something. Yeah, a little river. Is that a city? Oh, sure enough, it's a nice little city right there. Santa Cruz. And we have just outside of Santa Cruz, that's the kind of snowboard I ride, we have our beautiful little 4.8 at a depth of 613. At the surface, that's a 5.8 to a 6, okay? Because it's so deep. It's 613, not 580, not 570. It's over 613 kilometers down there. So that's a super deep quake. It might, since it's on this fulcrum point, this looks a little bit different now that I'm starting to look at this now. It should be out here in this weak zone. This might be activity from down below where this fulcrum point finally ends at the crust level magma barrier down there at 613 kilometers down, where the crust ends and the magma starts. There's a weak spot there, and that's where this quake, I bet you, there might be like either saltwater or lava intrusion in this area. It could be both, either saltwater or lava intrusion in this area from down below that's now loosened up this area and caused this earthquake at the deeper fulcrum point. Okay, there's the offshore fulcrum point, and then there's the inshore fulcrum point. So watch for new activity in this area. And like say next time we have a big quake or big deep quake over in Fiji and stuff enters the system and energy pushes directly across, it'll skip this and go straight across and drop off one. Watch for that energy to start maybe dropping off deep quakes like this one down below at the second fulcrum point inland. Okay, and that is a beautiful, beautiful example of our geology, how it works, and I need you to think of this quake as deep into the page. Imagine if you could look deep down into the ground, 613 kilometers, way down under this point, way down under these mountains and stuff, and you'd see where the weakness is and the stronger mountain thickness of the plate. And that's like a weak zone right there. So very, 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 very interesting quake. I would like to spend time with Dutch talking about that one right there. Anyway, otherwise, everything's looking kind of good as far as quake-wise. Let's just touch base again. It's the same 5.1. That's good. I want to take one little look. Is it this one? Yeah, I want to go. I just want to look at the all-day, all magnitudes. Oh, no, wait, all magnitudes one day. There we go. I want to see if this little, yeah, because see, one day, all magnitudes now. These are all the small quakes now, okay? We still have this little flurry of small quakes going on around LA, San Diego area, okay? Oh, right there. And we also have this little quake swarm still going on north of San Francisco here at the geysers, I believe. Is this the geysers? Yeah, this is the geysers. Okay, so a little quake swarm still going on there. What's going on up here? Oh, this is that lake where we had the quake swarms before, a 2.3 and another 2.3. So this little lake right here, remember we had the quake swarm going on there, has had a couple of 2.3s releasing energy. That's what that is. That's good. That's good. Everything seems to be, the system seems to be working pretty good. 2.4, yeah, I'll take that too, man. And what's this other one? A 2.9. Okay, so we did have a little 2.9, almost a 3 up in Manson, California, with another 2.4. Those are barely, feelable, able to feel. Something out by Pyramid Lake, a little stuff down by me. What's going on over here? Oh, we're having a little quake storm out here in the desert now at this feature. The biggest ones are 1.3s, the recent 1.4. So something geologic underground going on here. Okay, at this site. And that's south of Mono Lake out in the desert. Okay. That's okay. We need to move on. So, let's get on over to the Schumann, shall we? Shall we, Schumann? Will you shoe if I shoe, and we can shoe man together? All right. So, here was our little screeching event that we had yesterday. And we came out of it pretty good. I was a little bitter last night, and I said, I hope we don't come out of it. But it's still glowing green. I would zoom in, but there's not much to see. You can make out this small little screeching event right here that we had. Nothing too serious. And still pumping forward in reverse. But at least it's still spinning. Because we are coming over here to our polar vortex. And I want you to watch this for a minute, okay? Let me get it all adjusted with the winds and everything. Can you make out America down here, right? Whoops, let me pull it up a little bit. All right, so you can make out America. And we're going to pull it down. That's the top of the world. And I want you to take note of what direction the winds at the top of the world are going. What direction is our polar vortex rotating? I'm going to step away for just 1 second. I have to. Ow. So, we have a... whoa, what happened there?